Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.
Hello to all our viewers and thank you for watching Africa Investor Today. Let's start today's news lineup with a look at politics and economy. Mozambican President Armando Guebuza and his party have won the national elections in Mozambique with more than two-thirds majority in both the presidential and parliamentary elections. This was officially announced by the National Election Commission, the CNE, yesterday. The ruling party, the Frelimo, led by Guebuza, has secured 191 parliamentary seats in the National Assembly out of a total of 250 seats, accounting for more than 76.4%. Renamo, the main opposition led by Alfonso Hlakama, came second with 51 assembly seats, down from 90 held by the party after the previous election 5 years ago. And Guinea's ruling junta late on Wednesday presented proposals for the creation of a transitional government that would keep junta chief Captain Moussa Dadis Camara in place. The proposals were passed to Burkina Faso President Blaise Compaoré, who is mediating in talks with the country's opposition in Ouagadougou, after forces loyal to the junta on September 28th massacred more than 150 people. The killings took place at a rally in Conakry Stadium, organized to urge Camara not to stand in elections planned for January. In a 10-page document, junta representatives proposed a prime minister appointed by consensus under authority of the president. And that brings us to our first break. Stay with us. We'll be back very soon with more news.
Redefining energy means redefining life. At the Petroleum, Oil and Gas Corporation of South Africa, our commitment to greater innovation and greener fuels has made us pioneers in the field of gas-to-liquids technology. It has also earned us worldwide recognition for producing the cleanest fuels through environmentally friendly processes. That's how we've become the international leader in diesel technology. Through pure innovation, pure energy, pure brilliance.
And in companies and markets news, according to CEO Chris Gabriel, the African division of Zain, the cellular network operator, is not for sale. This was his message at a conference in Cape Town, South Africa, before conceding that any decision would rest with the shareholders over whom he had no influence. Speculation that Zain would sell its operations in 16 African countries arose earlier this year and was fueled by confirmation that these businesses are not as profitable as the Kuwaiti-based operator had hoped. Talks to sell to French group Vivendi for a reported 12 billion fell through after both sides initially denied that they were even discussing a deal. In South Africa, Eskom spokesperson Raisa Waja has stated that the Finance and Public Enterprise Ministers have signed guarantees that Eskom needed to secure funding for its 385 billion rand expansion program. The government has also pledged to lend Eskom 60 billion rand. Moody's Investors Service and Standard & Poor's last week said they would not complete their ratings on the company before the government signed the guarantees. In other news, Uganda's biggest mobile phone operator, MTN Uganda, expects more customer growth in the last quarter of the financial year and was looking at working with rivals to share infrastructure. According to the CEO, they have just gone over the 5 million mark and are projecting some growth towards the end of the financial year, probably close on 5.4 million subscribers. MTN Uganda, a unit of the South African MTN Group, dominates the Ugandan mobile market with an estimated 60% share in one of Africa's fastest growing mobile markets. It competes with 6 telecom players including Zain and Orange. CEO Themba Khumalo, who headed up MTN Rwanda's operations before taking up the Ugandan post, said the company was in talks with other operators to share existing and build new infrastructure in a bid to keep costs down. We're going to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Afrexim Bank is Africa's leading trade finance bank, an organization dedicated to promoting African trade through credit, risk-bearing and advisory services. We pride ourselves on having local presence throughout the continent and are committed to extending our award-winning trade and project finance programs to unlock private sector development continent-wide. We invite you to become a part of our vision for a strong Africa in a changing world. If you trade within Africa, contact us to support you.
In banking and finance news, in an effort to bring services closer to people, Blue Financial Services Limited Uganda will, starting next year, roll out to more Uganda districts. Approximately 5% of Uganda's estimated population of 34 million people has access to banking services. Once this expansion plan is complete, the company intends to create more jobs for Ugandans and increase loan accessibility to the rural people. Blue Financial Services Limited, a South African-based firm, opened its doors to the Ugandan market in 2007 and provides personal, educational, home improvement, consolidation and top-up loans ranging from 50,000 to 5 million shillings. The company, listed on the South African Stock Exchange, has 16 branches across Uganda. And in news from Nigeria, a top economic advisory body has urged the central bank governor to do everything possible to lower interest rates to boost economic activity. The National Economic Council met with central bank governor Lamido Sanusi this week to express its concerns over tight bank lending following the regulator's recent multi-billion-dollar bailout of 9 troubled banks. The central bank last week left its benchmark interest rate at 6%, but altered its 2% corridor for loans and deposit rates to encourage lending. Private sector credit outstripped government spending for the first time last year, but that credit included loans to stock market speculators and fuel marketers, which has since turned bad. And with that, we're going to take another short break. We'll be right back.
Africa Investor, the leading African investment magazine, is essential reading for investors in Africa, filled with the very latest in Pan-African investment and finance news. In addition, log on to africa-investor.com to find out more about our exciting capital market infrastructure and tourism events, and our long-standing investable Africa Investor 100 Index series, which tracks over $600 billion of African equities. Doing business in Africa, you can't afford to be without Africa Investor.
We look at infrastructure news now. Kenya's central bank launched its second infrastructure bond yesterday, inviting bids for an 18.5 billion shilling 12-year issue with a 12% coupon. The launch follows the success of Kenya's debut infrastructure bond issued in January this year. The bond was 45% oversubscribed, and recent Kenyan corporate and government debt issues have also attracted strong demand. Kenya unveiled a stimulus package in its 2009-10 budget, earmarking increased borrowing for infrastructure projects to maintain growth in East Africa's biggest economy following the global economic slowdown. And in our final story today, De Beers has disposed of its 71% stake in the AK6 diamond project to Lucara of the London Group. African Diamonds brokered the deal and intends to acquire a stake in Lucara for £4.8 million, increasing its share in AK6 from 29% to 40%. The agreement was subject to Botswana government approval. Mine development will commence next year, with production expected in 2011. Studies reveal that AK6 could potentially become a 1 million carat a year mine. And that's a wrap from the Africa Investor News team. For more on these stories and others making headlines in Africa, visit www.africa-investor.com. Have a good day.
Africa Investor Today is proudly brought to you in association with Petro SA and Afrexim Bank.